Hey there, podcast people. I'm your host, Starbuck, and here's my co-host,
Jimmy the Shoe.
And we're here to talk about comic books today. Sorry we're in such a loud tavern. Jimmy, again, brought us to one of the I don't know, how do you pick these places, dude?
Well, mostly it's where I need to meet people.
You meet people here?
Yeah, I met you here, for example.
I mean, well, you invited me here, so I mean
that is usually how you end up some places getting invited there.
That's true. Well, hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. We, your trusty friends here, are going to talk to you about some comic books today. What did we read this week, Jimmy?
Well, we read Batman. Not any Batman. Batman Hush.
We did. That was what we very hastily agreed upon last week, when we were, when you put me on the spot and we're like, wait, what are we reading next week? So we did, we read Batman Hush. Okay, so I've been told from some of our listeners that we need to describe more about the story. So let's start with first impressions.
Make sure to give a spoiler warning.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we are absolutely going to spoil 20-year-old comic books here. So
we're going to spoil the heck out of it.
We're going to spoil it until it comes home hyper and won't go to bed and has like rotting teeth. So that being said, spoiler alert. What did you think? What was your first impressions?
I thought it was really good. I'd read a few of the comics in the series over time. Is just picking up spare ones around. But it got more and more involved as it went along. I'm like, no, this is the bad guy. No, it's this guy.
Yeah, and for those of you listening, Batman Hush is kind of like a famous Batman storyline that's famous because of the mystery involved in it. It's definitely one of the great detective stories that we have in the Batman catalog. So okay, we're going to spoil.
Of it?
Yeah, I was going to say, okay. In this story arc, effectively what's happening is Batman's childhood friend Tommy there's too much backstory. Where do we start? Batman's friend gets killed. It's all orchestrated by a bad guy who's using other bad guys to get to him, and it's a whole lot of misleading cues.
Pretty much that's it. Yeah,
go ahead. You can add more.
It was like an enlistment to be like, we need to see the villain roster of Batman. Okay, we're going to enlist every single villain. And it's all controlled by somebody, and
right.
You don't know who until the end.
Yeah, and you have no idea who this mystery bad guy is. And in this book, of course, the whole thing is really, like we talked about it before. It's the Riddler is behind the whole thing, but there's so much to unpack because it starts with the Riddler taking over one of Ra's al Ghul's. What did they call him? The rainbow
Lazarus
bath
pits.
Oh, Lazarus pits, right? The rainbow bath. I like mine better. In the Lazarus pits, yeah, and it restores him, but it wrecks the Lazarus pit, and then. Okay, so and then while he was there, he has the epiphany that Batman is Bruce Wayne. And then he enlists Two-Face, right?
Two-Face, yes.
Two-Face to fix him in order to, kill Batman?
Yeah.
He tells him who he is. Help me out here, man. There's a lot here.
I'm just like,
you just look at me that's right.
And they just pull in so many, it's super complicated to explain. So
it really is.
I think we may skip over that, but there's you have to be there. It's a geography joke.
The thing about Batman Hush, I mean, it was drawn by the great Jim Lee. You've got the great Jeph Johns writing it, and it's just one thing leads to another thing that makes you think, oh, I know what's going on. Like at one point they clearly pose Two-Face as like oh, okay, the Two-Face is behind all of this. And I was just like, oh, well, that was kind of a disappointing.
I thought it was Two-Face for like 4 comics. I'm like, it's totally. I'm like, right. I'm going to call it, and they're going to be in that podcast and be like, it was Two-Face all along. I know it.
I did too, but like the whole time I was like, well, that's kind of a bummer. It's just Two-Face. Like, that's not. I didn't think it was that exciting. But then, of course, again, spoiler alert, it's not Two-Face. Then we think it's Jason Todd for a minute after Tim Drake is kidnapped by Clayface, who is in the appearance of like a grown-up Jason Todd.
And I totally thought it was Jason Todd because I remember back to when Batman was swinging and then his rope got cut and you saw battering fly off in the best. So like, it's totally him. I knew it all along.
And it totally would kind of make sense. And he knew a lot. Like like Clayface being Jason Todd, like was like he knew a lot about that relationship, but that's when you kind of figure out that it was all like the Riddler was feeding that information and getting that information from Tommy, and then of course Tommy is Hush, which. I mean, it was totally one of those things where again, for if you haven't read it, Tommy gets killed at the beginning of the series, or at least early on in the series. And you totally don't expect that.
No, and I didn't even know much about him, but then would do flashbacks to like Bruce and him as kids.
And to be fair, I don't even know if that character existed prior to that issue. I don't know that he did. I think he was brand new then.
I was going to ask if he was in there. What game were they playing? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. Like, you kind of think like it's kind of chessy, but like they've got weird names for their soldiers
it's
and stuff.
Some rich elitist game we can't afford.
Right. So we've never even heard of it. We're not in that class. If we were, we could just buy these books every week and not have to read them on digital. But yeah, I mean, but all around though, like I feel like the book kind of redeemed itself for me because I was like, oh, it's Two-Face. Oh, bummer. And then I was like, oh, I was tricked. It's not Two-Face. It's actually this dude. I thought he was dead. I didn't think anything about that guy. How did you feel?
I felt bad for the Joker. He showed up for one scene and had a fake gun out, and this other guy shot. I mean, it's the Joker's fault for being like, I have a fake gun.
Right.
And got the shit kicked out of him by Batman. And he's like, it's not me all along. And then it's over. And I'm like, poor Joker's just all beat up now. Harley Quinn has to take him home and take care of him. I love
the Jimmy the Shoe, kind of identifies with the Joker in this scene because like, okay, like who does that? He's reading. He's like, man, this Joker guy, it's not fair.
I know. He's just misunderstood.
Speaking of Joker, I don't know about you, but I am so stoked to see the movie.
At first I saw the trailer and I'm like, I don't know. It seems kind of artsy and, I don't know what's actually going to happen. And then I rewatched it and then saw all the background and then all the Joker stuff in the background. And I'm like, this is going to be really good. What's going to happen?
I don't think that there's no room for art in more comic book movies, man. I think if that's the direction that we can get them to go, I think that that's a great idea because I feel like tights and spandex can only last so long. On screen.
That's true.
I love the Marvel movies. I love the DC movies, but I don't know. Eventually, I might not continue spending, the mass amounts of money that I do going to see them in the theaters over and over again.
That's what I like about a lot of streaming services.
Right.
They can just watch them at home.
So speaking of which, DC,
I did just see a movie.
DC Universe, if we're here looking for that sponsor, show to sponsor, we're here.
We'll tell you Disney Plus. We'll tell everybody how great you want us to.
Yeah, Disney Plus, we're out there. Because I am excited about Disney Plus. I'm going to
have you seen the trailer for the
Mandalorian? Oh my god, it looks awesome. It looks great. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. So please, Disney, throw some money at us. So we did Superman. Do we want to talk about Superman too? Or are we still on Hush?
Let's stay on Batman.
Okay, we're still...
I'll save Superman for later. I've got some strong opinions about him.
some of the things about Hush, particularly as a person that's been kind of on again, off again with comic books for the last 20 years, is Hush has done a lot for the book moving forward from this, and I feel like a lot of casual readers may read Hush and then move forward. But just to let you know, there were some awesome starts of storylines in there, including the part where Jason Todd is not in his grave. Jimmy.
Yeah, I was confused by that. They were, this is when the other Robin disappears.
Right, Tim Drake.
Tim Drake. And on that, so like, how long, what's the waiting period for Batman to get a new Robin?
Robins.
Does he have to like wait at least 6 months?
I don't know. And honestly, I haven't been reading comic books long enough to really know. But I feel like I know what you mean. Like, I feel like there hasn't been, I remember, Robin going off becoming Nightwing, and then there was like another Robin, like that. But maybe I'm remembering things wrong. But yeah, it seems like maybe Bruce has some issues that maybe we need to discuss.
Yeah, I think so. He's got some personal issues.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, having a partner is important, but like, Alfred's a pretty awesome partner. And like, why does he always have to have these young boys around?
His wards.
His wards. He's always going to have a ward.
I wonder if he like makes each one to be like, no, this is what you're wearing. I don't want to wear this color. Oh, sorry, that's the Robin costume. You can just leave. He's homeless again.
Do keep in mind though that of course, Jason Todd's outfit is in the Batcave. Yes. It's always on display to like remind him, like, don't get your dudes fucking killed and shit.
That's actually how I found out there was different Robins. I always thought it was Dick Grayson.
Oh,
and then
okay.
I read that.
Yeah,
Robin died, and I'm like, oh no, and you're like,
it's
Dick
not the
Grayson.
same one.
No, he's not there.
And I this may show some of my lack of knowledge in comic books, but I swear that years ago I read a book where like, maybe it was Robin's dad. I think it was Robin's dad was killed by Captain Boomerang. So it's clearly not the Dick Grayson.
What did Captain Boomerang fight with?
I think it was a pool cue. But yeah, no, Captain Boomerang. But I think that was the Tim Drake Robin. Never mind. I'm getting my stories all mixed up because I was like, oh wait, no, that didn't happen. That was a different character.
Let's say there's just been a lot of Robins.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Robins.
Responsible. Make sure to take out that Robin life insurance.
Like, and he talks about people that know him like loose ends, but like he's just really telling every 16-year-old boy that comes around, hey, I'm Batman. I want some candy. Yeah.
So, and then there's Poison Ivy's in it. I like Poison Ivy.
Oh, okay, yeah. It is really...
That's like how it almost starts out.
Yeah, it's definitely a rogues gallery of Batman bad guys. I mean, was the Penguin in it?
I was just going to ask. I don't think the Penguin was
I missed the Penguin, yeah. But I mean, it did. It really had... Poison Ivy was like kind of the first big baddie because she was, pheromoning everyone, and I feel like I mean, she's pretty for a comic book character, but I feel like Superman probably wouldn't be like. I feel like he would be immune to her,
but he had like special kryptonite chopstick, and I mean lipstick.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, and then she mixed it with her pheromones.
Oh, did Luthor get that?
Yeah.
Or am I just making that up?
Riddler got that.
Riddler got that. Okay.
From somebody.
Okay. Right. I might not have caught that. So she had like special K lipstick. Yeah. I think I've met some girls at raves like that.
I wonder if that like irritated her lips afterward.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. But I was surprised that Superman was just like, oh yeah, I'm Poison Ivy's bitch now.
I didn't know that like he was that weak to kryptonite. Batman pulls out this little like
like
school ring with kryptonite on it and beat the crap out of Superman.
And of course they mention it in the issue, but Superman gave that to Batman.
Yes.
But like if you think that that's the only kryptonite Batman has,
Right.
like, no, he just pulls that one out because, like, Bruce knows he has it.
Yeah.
But, like, I bet he
Clark.
has, Clark.
Well, Bruce also knows.
Yeah,
that
but
he
Clark
has it.
knows he has it. But, like, I'll bet he has, like, a lead-lined pouch in his belt that's got, like, just full of, like, I don't know, injections of straight, like, Kryptonian, like, kill you right now.
I like it. Raid.
Raid, yeah.
Exactly. Interesting story, and this is one of my beefs I have with Superman.
Okay.
My kid's starting kindergarten, and so it reminded me of when I was in kindergarten.
Uh-huh.
And my favorite color was green.
Okay.
Loved green. Luke had a green lightsaber, so it was super cool.
Right.
Then
naturally.
I started watching the Superman movies, like 1, 2, and 3, and realized that kryptonite was green, and that if I ever met Superman, he may not like me because my favorite color was green, the color of kryptonite.
Sure, that's a fair assessment.
So I, of course, switched it to blue. It was okay. I mean, I could deal with it. I liked blue. Luke also had a blue lightsaber.
Sure.
But it was finally years later, I'm like, no, F you, Superman. I'll like whatever color I want and switch back to green. Like 3 years ago. So
that's maybe the best story I've ever heard. I won't. Yeah, I was afraid of toilets for like 2 years when I was little, but we won't talk
because
about
of Superman?
It. No.
Where did he touch you?
All right. Anyway, so I mean, if you're reading along, The Hush is an awesome book to read. Like I said, just the art, the writing, the direction was fantastic, and it opened so many cool storylines moving forward. Because yes, Jason Todd is alive after that. You'll just have to keep reading that Batman series to read that.
I like how open it like involved so much in there.
Yeah,
I didn't feel he was a very good detective in it. Like at the end, he went and explained.
This microphone just likes to cut out completely, and then I can't hear the bar at all.
Yeah, I can mess with the cables here.
All right,
Okay.
Let's turn it up a little bit.
On?
Yeah,
there we
okay.
go. There we go.
All right, so we have this extra microphone here just in case someone in the bar does decide to walk up and join us one of these days. But so far, I'm pretty sure they think we're weird.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't even came over and asked for our drinks yet.
I know, like we've been sitting here for, I mean, how long has it been? Like 15 minutes?
Yeah, good thing I brought my own bottle.
It's kind of ridiculous service.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't think he was a very good detective. Like at the end, he's like, "Oh, I knew this," and he's like, "Oh, I could tell because of this."
Right.
And I'm like, "You didn't really explain it." I like the more of the mystery Batman comics where he has to like investigate, and you see him doing like all the grunt work to figure things out.
In my experience, that's more of like the detective comics, like just in the style that they are, because Detective Comics are kind of like the Batman family book.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like all the Rogues Gallery and the extended family outside of the Bat family, and it's very much kind of like in the books that I've read, it's been kind of the detective book. But it was cool to see Lee take on Batman, because I mean this run is famous now. I mean,
yeah.
And of course Lee's now is the editor-in-chief of DC or something close to that. The guy literally pretty much runs everything. And Jeph Johns, who of course, I mean, did he write? He wrote Heroes too, didn't he? I mean, he wrote Heroes. He's written a couple of our screen, Marvel movies and that kind of thing. The guy's just, I mean, he's pretty incredible, and to see them work together, I think it was a great run on that book.
That's one thing I'm excited about reading comics is starting to remember different writers and different styles of art and everything between everyone.
Well, and like last week we talked about Garth Ennis, and Garth Ennis' Punisher run was fantastic, and he's like my favorite comic writer of all time. Like he's just sinister and dark, and he doesn't really like superheroes. And so I just identify with like just like kind of the effed up stuff that he puts out there.
Right.
And so I'm really stoked. So I mentioned last week that Garth Ennis is going to be back on Punisher for a limited run. And he is. But I've completely forgotten what the series was now.
While you're looking that up real quick, doing some quick research here at our local
of course
bar. There was a whole relationship with Batman and Catwoman.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
comic.
yeah. That might be kind of new to you, isn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty new. I didn't know they were an
okay.
item.
So that, 20 years ago, you know. Yeah. So the romance, I liked the romance in that book, because it was totally like Bruce just like second guessing everything about it because of it. And he reveals his true identity.
Interesting. But he already knew who she was, right?
Oh yeah, always.
I mean, I guess that's the problem with being the bad guy. You get thrown in jail, they take off your mask. Oh, you're this person fingerprinted. And
yeah, no, and he's known who she was forever. But yeah, so like, I mean, again, more stuff. Like I said, there's so much to unpack in that. Batman reveals his identity and it's not just to Selina, right? There was someone else. Like,
I'm bad.
I know, I swear. Like, I noticed that though. They were like literally.
He docked it. I don't know.
We're gonna have to.
So how did he introduce himself to her? Like, if he already knew who she was, did he like hit on her as Batman when she was Catwoman? Did he go up and roll in his Bruce Wayne and his fancy car to pick her up?
Well, you know, they've played cat and mouse, cat and bat for a lot of years, you know, and like my impression of Catwoman is she's always kind of flirty, and you know, and he's Bruce Wayne, so he's suave MF, you know, so like
he's got a really big wallet,
right? Exactly. So I'm pretty sure like he was just like, hey, I'm not gonna book you this time, but just know that we shared a moment, you know, like I kind of feel like that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, Garth Ennis is going to write more Punisher at Marvel this November. So these are books that are going to come out, in paper in November, so they won't be on Marvel Unlimited.
They must have really slow computers. It takes them that long to upload the paper images.
Well, they want you to buy the books, you know, and you absolutely should buy the books. They're fantastic. But I was just trying to find out what, because it's not just like Punisher. It's like a Punisher, like colon something, like subtitled.
The Punisher's colon.
The Punisher's colon. It is,
Is this the same one we were reading before, or is this a different Punisher?
So it is Punisher Soviet.
Ooh.
So to me, like, I get the impression that this is, we should read that too.
Yeah, I want to read that.
There's a Superman Red Sun.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of like a double entendre because he's powered by our Earth's red sun, but, you know, red sun is a reference to a Russian soldier. And in Red Sun, Superman doesn't crash in Kansas. He crashes in like Moscow.
Cool.
And he, you know, grows up to defend the Russian way. The Soviet way, I should say.
Any good communist should.
Right. So it's an alternate.
Did he have two like farmer parents, or did he get like?
I don't remember. It's been a long time, but it is on DC Universe. We'll definitly put it.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely read that. Because it's absolutely worth reading, and I think that's what they're doing with Garth Ennis with the Punisher. And I mean,
okay, cool.
So, like, how awesome is that going to be, seeing the Punisher in the Soviet Union, probably during the Cold War, just like doing his thing, like
punishing people.
But like, I don't know if he's going to be a Soviet.
Yeah.
And if so, that's awesome. I can't wait to read that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, because we'll get to watch ourselves get butchered in that then.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does.
Who am I supposed to be rooting for now?
Right, exactly. But yeah, so definitely check out Garth Ennis's work.
Going on Superman now, right?
Superman, yes. I'm waving my hand, knowing that no one can hear me wave my hand, but that's what I'm doing. Superman, Man of Steel. So I wanted to do Man of Steel because it's a new Superman run. So big deal in the comic book world. A year ago, Brian Michael Bendis left as Marvel's editor-in-chief and became DC's editor-in-chief. So that's big deal. Yeah.
They didn't have any no competition clauses or anything. He couldn't go be like, I've got all these comic ideas.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
Maybe his contract expired. I don't know how comic books work, but all I know is that
any listeners out there that know how these things work, please tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we have clearly no idea.
If somebody wants to give it a Google, that's fine too.
Yeah, and what's our email address? It's clastissue@gmail.com.
Indeed.
But yeah, so, Brian Michael Bendis jumps ship, goes to DC, and takes over everything. Like, he's like, I want to write Superman. I want to write, like, Green Lantern. And they were like, no, we'll let you have Superman. But he did, when he came over, he also put Grant Morrison on Green Lantern, which we should get to that too.
Okay.
Soon. But yeah, so it was a big deal. It shook up the comic book industry. It's people, the guy that made the Avengers what they are and made Spider-Man awesome and created the Unlimited Universe, the Ultimate Universe. It was like, peace out. I'm going to the other guys.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like, I want to wear blue tights now. But what do you think of the story? So he's writing the story.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I have trouble with Superman. I think he's kind of boring.
Okay. It's a fair argument.
Too farm boy, and he's just too ultra powerful. I guess, even though in this comic series he got beat up quite a bit.
Right.
Which is, like, I think he was questioning a lot of things about himself.
Sure.
I like more the story of his cousin, a Supergirl.
Okay. Is it more of the Kara story? More
of the Kara story, where she came to... I thought it was super, like, it's like, you're trained to go protect him.
Right.
You're gonna go there and be there and take care of him as a baby, and then gets lost and shows up there. Way later.
I'm a fan of Brian Michael Bendis. I like the stuff that he writes. I didn't know how I was going to feel about him on Superman. I am the other side of the spectrum. I think Superman is incredible, and just like he stands for like everything that is good, and like, through different eras and political times and writings of the character, he's just always been for like what's right versus what's political or what's, whatever.
Yeah.
I know the old thing, he stands for truth, justice, and the American way, but like, I mean, really, like, to me, Superman's the guy that like you can always count on.
He's a symbol of hope.
Right. And I love that about him, because I'm really corny deep down. Like, I like the romances in the books and stuff like that. And I love that character of Superman because of it. And I love so many different authors over the years have written him. Basically they write him without his powers.
Yeah.
So that they can have him be like him versus this ultra powered, like, nobody can beat him character. But we didn't see that that much. He did get beat up a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is, I didn't know too much about him.
Mm-hmm.
Reading through this and seeing like his Fortress of Solitude in that mini city, Condor.
The city of Kandor.
Kandor.
Yeah. And so I love that he did bring that up.
Yeah.
I don't love so much that he destroyed it, because that's like you talk about Kal-El being the symbol of hope, and I mean, he was the symbol of hope to those people.
The bad guy's name in this. Oh yeah, we'll give a synopsis of the story real quick.
Okay. Well, you go on this one. Take the lead.
What's that dude's name?
I don't know. Zol.
Corazol.
Is that it?
Cortisone cream.
Cortisone cream.
Well, look at this. This bad dude, and he's kind of ugly looking.
I'm looking it up. I don't remember. So anyway, yeah, dude, what's the story?
So this bad dude really hates Kryptonians. This is back when Krypton was still a planet, because they sounded very American. They would travel to other worlds and take over and use up all their resources and move on.
Yes.
And he was afraid they were just going to eventually start destroying systems. Like, they'd been peaceful, but he's always worried the Kryptonians are going to just eventually take too much.
Right, and that was Rogol Zar.
Rogol Zar. We were close.
Yeah. Cortisone. Yeah, Rogol Zar, he's got a grudge against Kryptonians.
I don't even know who he is. Why is he so strong?
I don't know either.
You don't know?
No, I mean, I think he's a new character from Bendis.
Okay, I didn't know if he would was a past character.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, there wasn't a lot of old stuff pulled out for this.
Okay.
Let's see, Rogol are, but maybe
so
I'm wrong.
Anyway, he hates Kryptonians and wants to be like, the only way we can solve this, we can't go to war with them because they're too powerful. The only way we can win is genocide and just blow up Krypton.
Right. Right.
And he's trying to tell us, is it to the Green Lantern Corps? Or like the Council of Elders or some...
Yeah, it's the Council of Elders.
Okay.
And so, yeah, no, he does apparently, Rogol Zar does go back, previous issues and whatnot. Doesn't look like a whole lot recently. Or maybe it's alluding to stuff that
might happen.
They're retconning, they're
Yeah.
just adding stuff in there. But what did you think about, so, I mean, we had a lot of stuff going on with, the comics that I was reading, Superman, a year ago, or more than a year ago, obviously. We've got the edition of Superman's Son. You've got the whole, Lois is gone. Oh, wait, some of this is still coming. I've already read some of these in weeklies.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
No, the Lois is gone. It was in this one.
Yeah, so Lois is gone right now, which, I mean, kind of, to me, is like taking away Superman's kryptonite.
Yeah.
What do you think about the way that the characters play off of each other in this book?
At that point is when I really started, when Jor-El showed up.
Yeah.
And started talking to them and being like, the boy needs to come with us. And I'm like, oh, I'm actually enjoying Superman now. Like, you're not just a boring Kansas farm boy now.
That is one thing that I think Bendis has introduced in the book that has also really been impactful to my reading as well. Because I think, I told you what I feel like about Superman. Like, Superman is this guy that, is beyond reproach. Like, he is awesome and always good. But, to me, there's kryptonite, which is, of course, his kryptonite, but then you've got Lois Lane, which is his, real kryptonite.
Yeah.
But now he has a son. And
it's crazy he had a son. I had no idea.
Yeah, and welcome to comic books. For those of you that are just starting to read Man of Steel, Superman has had a kid for a couple of years now.
Several years. It was 8 or 9 or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I don't know.
I don't know how fast Kryptonians grow. What's the gestation?
Fast. Because they comment on it at one point, and then just wait. Keep reading and watch what happens. A little spoiler alert: he'll be 25 in 4 issues.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Which doesn't happen in the Super Sons book, which is happening at the same time, which is kind of weird. Also worth reading the Super Sons book. It's Damian from Batman and then John from Superman. But so dude is after the last Kryptonians. He's destroyed Krypton, and now he's after Kal-El.
I think it was funny that he didn't know and he was just hanging out, and then they had some Kryptonian drink in a bar. And the bartender is he's like, what's this? And he's like, oh, it's for Superman. So we have this drink for him in this bar. He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, he's from this planet. And he's like, okay, I'm going to this planet.
I feel like I have to reread that because I totally missed that.
And he's just hanging out. I was like, what? They're still alive?
That's awesome. So you have, I've read, I read the series when it came out in weeklies, and I recently reread the first 4, but I don't really remember how it ended. I do remember in my feeling about the book that it kind of rushed. I felt
like it was really fast.
You felt that way too?
Through, yeah.
Yeah. And I
especially after coming off of reading Hush, that was really long.
Right. It was like, all right, we're going to trick you 2 more times. I really felt that way too. Superman just kind of it flew right through.
Well, there's this whole subplot in the story about these fires that are burning down across the city.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I don't think there was ever a conclusion to that in the story. They were trying to figure out what the pattern is.
It keeps going.
It keeps going. Yeah, there's 9 or 10 fires. And
right. Well, and that's the thing. So after Man of Steel, Man of Steel led up to the Superman #1. And that's where we're at now, and they continue with the story. So you'll get to see more on Rogol Zar. You'll get to see more about the upcoming Leviathan event that happens right after all of that. Okay. There's 10 issues to go through a couple of adventures, grow up the Superboy, and send him off to the next thing, which is what I just said.
I feel sorry for Superman's son. What's his name again?
John.
Yeah. He's like, the Titans wouldn't want me. They said to come back in a couple of years. Ooh, that's harsh.
Right.
Oh, man.
But that was in Titans, wasn't it? Or not Titans, Young Justice.
Oh, yeah.
It was Kid Flash and Superboy, and I think it was. Maybe it was Kid Flash and Robin, I don't know. But they get told, like, come back in a couple of years, kid, and they go out and they race
they form
somehow.
their own group.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna go make my own superhero friends.
Because I've got a crypto dog.
They just get progressively younger and younger groups before.
Right. Well, I mean, if you look back in the 70s, they also had the Wonder Twins, and that's still a little creepy to me. Because, like, those are like 13-year-olds, like, turning into pails of water and stuff.
Are there comic series, because there's like Teen Titans and everything, is there a senior one where they're all like old people?
Yeah, it's just Titans.
That's like our age.
But,
I mean, like, if you're like 60s,
Senior
70s,
Titans.
Senior Titans.
I got you. Platinum Titans, I think is what that one will be, the PTs.
If I was a old-aged crime fighter, I'd just be called the Silver Fox.
Oh, that's the best, the Silver Fox. Well, on that note,
yes.
we've talked a little bit about your name.
Oh,
Jimmy the Shoe, or Jaime Zapato, as you're called in Mexico.
Yes.
I hope it was Mexico, because if I say France, it's going to be really weird sounding. Yes, they call him Jaime Zapato in France. Your name, Jimmy the Shoe, you said, you've told us that someone gave it to you.
Yes.
And you've had it since.
So, I think it's because you're American. Names,
right?
You have a first and last name.
Sure.
But back in the day, like, people would get, like, names, like, their last name's Hunter. It's because they were a hunter.
Sure. Well, yeah, like
and
John
the
Hancock
district
and
I
stuff.
was from was broken up depending on what was made there.
Right.
I'm from the shoe district, where shoes are made, versus, like, the sock district.
Oh.
There are many battles between the different districts. Don't let me get started on the shoe versus the sandal district, because we had some bad beef for years.
What?
A lot of lost souls.
Okay. The sandal district, man. Were they pretty, like, they were pretty brutal then?
They were mostly hipsters. Birkenstocks were common. And
they wore socks, yes. with their shoes.
They
I
had
gotcha.
a close alliance with the sock district. So that's how you could tell, if they're a united cause, whether they had socks or no socks. I kind of was in between districts a lot of time.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of sewers there, and it's easy to travel around sewers.
You've brought up the sewers, you've mentioned rooftops and sewers as alternate forms of travel. Do you just, like, carry a wingsuit? Like, what's the deal?
Well, often I find if you have enough imagination and believe in yourself enough, you might be able to do something like leap across a building top.
You absolutely cannot, ladies and gentlemen, do not do that. Kids, do not jump off buildings.
No, don't jump off buildings unless you've already proven that you're a superhero to somebody.
Don't do that either, kids. Okay, so we're gonna move on, because this is getting more and more dangerous and liabilities are flying.
In fact, unless you actually have a superhero card granted by the Superhero Association.
What's the Superhero
Oh, you don't
Association?
know? Well, you would find out if you were a superhero. It's pretty exclusive. Only certain people can know about it.
We're going to talk about this later. So those were the books that we really wanted to talk about this week. We talked about Superman.
We forgot to discuss how it ended.
Yes.
You missed it. So
go for it.
Superman keeps fighting and losing, and then his cousin Supergirl is helping out. And they finally get the bad guy off Earth, and that's Superman's goal, because he doesn't want the cities to get destroyed.
Oh, right.
So he gets them to the moon, and then still gets beat up on the moon. And then he finally realizes what this guy is. He's fighting for war, like that type of thing.
Sure.
And so he uses, like, humanity and hope. He's like, I feel sorry for you.
See,
and if you ever want to piss anybody off that's mad at you, tell them you feel sorry for them.
Right, yeah, because that definitely will not get you punched again. And that's why I like Superman. And you know, Bendis is corny. Like he writes his stories are corny, but like I like Superman because like he is the best in all of us.
He cares.
And so that's why Superman is my hero, and I want to be like Superman, although I have a giant tattoo of Wolverine on my leg because Wolverine's a badass, let's be real.
Awesome. So anyway, they get him off Earth. Oh, the bad guy was putting something in the center of the Earth to destroy the planet.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was, but Superman
I don't remember
carried it out of the Earth.
Yeah, we took it into space, right?
Yeah. I wonder what kind of like earthquakes happen by Superman like flying down to the center of the Earth.
Well, I'm sure he was just using his laser vision to drill a hole 2 million feet deep or whatever. I don't know.
So anyway, Superman takes this device and throws it in outer space, and of course the bad guy's like, this is a super expensive device, I don't want to lose it.
Right.
I assume that's why he's chasing it. Superman's like, I don't know what this is, I'm getting rid of it.
Gotcha.
And then
Supergirl
goes
after
showed up with a Phantom gun to send him to the Phantom Realm.
Oh, they sent him to the Phantom Realm, that's right. Okay.
And then they're like, well, you just can't do it to anybody.
Well,
he's like, well, he did rogue tech Krypton law.
Right, and he destroyed the village of, the city of Kandor, but like at the same time, like, cause nobody ever comes back from the Phantom Zone. Like, thank goodness we're all safe now.
Everybody's like, oh, it's there. Okay.
Boys and girls, when you throw people into the Phantom Zone, they always come back, so just quit using it.
Yeah, so Phantom Zone. I know it from like the original Superman movie.
The floating disc.
The floating disc.
Yeah.
Is that like what they're trapped in? Is that like
that's
their jail
exactly
cell
it.
in the Phantom Zone? What if they just fly in the Phantom Zone? Or do they get put in there when they go to the Phantom Zone?
I don't know.
I've never been there, so.
Yeah, no, I don't really know how that works, how the Phantom Zone prison things work. Because I don't think they're really using them so much anymore. Now it's just kind of like...
because everyone escapes.
Yeah, right. Now they just zap you with a gun. You're like, you're in the Phantom Zone now. And they're like, motherfucker, we're like, where's the mirror that I'm going to jump through to get out, you know? But yeah, so I still, you know, and I always feel like a writer going to a new book for the first time, like I always feel like there's kind of a jump starting period where it's just like, all right, we got to suffer through some growing pains. And I feel like Man of Steel was definitely plagued by those things. I mean, I didn't think it was a bad book, but I mean, I think it'll get better.
Yeah, it's getting on its feet. And
yeah, for sure.
I always, even with it's a paperback or whatever book I'm reading, I always try to give it, even TV shows, be like, oh, I'm going to give it a couple episodes. You got to get it rolling and get the feel for it.
I was going to say, like, I know the books that you read. Like, you don't give them a few of them to find out if they're good. Like, you get like 600 pages into the first one, you're like, all right, if I can't read any more of this, I'm done. So did you read anything else this week?
I did not. I started watching Titans.
Oh,
season 2.
Yeah. Titans season 2 has begun. I think they may have just started a second episode Friday, so I think we now have 2 episodes, so definitely check that out. It's fantastic. What else you been doing?
I saw It.
Yeah. Oh, I saw It too.
It too was a good one. Get some good
yes,
friends.
I liked that. If you guys have any books that you think that we should read either on Marvel Unlimited or DC Universe, email us at sealastissue@gmail.com. I'm going to work on getting the pod up on iTunes this week. So I expect that we should be searchable by next week. And then, you know, shortly after we'll start coming to all the other streaming platforms and whatnot.
That'll be really awesome. So what do you want to read for next week?
So let's switch back to Marvel for next week. We'll do some of the books that we've already kind of started on with the first issues in the first episode. We've got Daredevil. What else did we read? Did we read
Punisher?
We did some Punisher. Let's do some more Punisher.
Do you want to do the Hulk? The Hulk?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a whole plot line or is it just...
No, like that one you can do. It's kind of issue by issue. Like it doesn't matter if you jump where you jump on.
He's not going anywhere. He's just getting mad.
Yeah, he's just getting mad and killing people. But it's really good. I mean, like the Marvel Universe went without a Hulk for a long time. Like there was no Hulk comic books. And when this Immortal Hulk came out, oh, you know what? I'm really a jerk. I take that back. We had Amadeus Cho as the Hulk. But I never really like read those books. And we also had the Hulk Verines. Or no, that one's just started. What is it? Weapon H
each.
Yeah, they mixed Wolverine and Hulk.
Nothing to go wrong there.
Right, yeah, no, it's a giant friggin' Hulk machine with giant, like, claws to pop. Yeah, it was, I actually have never read any of them, but I'm kind of excited to at some point because, I mean, that just sounds fun to me.
Sounds good. What was the other one you were talking about? It was either a Spider-Man or a X-Men.
Yeah, well, let's stay off the X-Men right now because we'll, like I said, we'll pick up the Hickman X-Men when that comes to the service in the next couple of months. Spider-Man. Oh, you mentioned Venom.
Yes.
And I was like, well, the first event that I can think of that was kind of bite-sized enough to do in this format would be Maximum Carnage.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're following along, folks, check out. We're gonna read at least the next one, Daredevil. What else do we say? Punisher. I think I'm going to read some more Guardians of the Galaxy because that was really good.
I think I'll throw that in there.
And I'd like to do, the Doctor Strange, starting with the Botulo run, 2015, right at the peak of the Doctor Strange
that sounds good.
fanaticism.
I like some magic.
Yeah, I love Chris Botulo's work. One of the first books that I ever like collected the whole run. It wasn't a long run, so it wasn't that hard, but, was a book in the 90s called Steampunk.
Yeah.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, pretty much coined the phrase, because I don't remember ever hearing it prior to that. This was like 1996, 1997. And Chris Botulo's work, if you read this Doctor Strange, you'll kind of get a feel for what he does. And imagine him doing like an awesome Victorian steampunk, like weirdness. Imagine like a steampunk festival, but actually in London.
Oh, cool.
You know, during the 17th century.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like the main hero is like his heart is coal powered and stuff. Like his name is like Coal Blackheart or something like that.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's real inventive. And the bad guy is like Richard Nixon. I'm not kidding.
Just actual Richard Nixon.
Yeah, no, like it's like an alternate version of him, but like they use like Washington's a real person and Nixon's a real person, and it's
crazy.
like, yeah, it's worth reading, but I don't think you can anymore. You got to dig it out of my boxes because it's they don't exist online or anything like that. But yeah, Chris Botulo. We'll check out some of the Doctor Strange. Yeah, so like I said, if you have anything that you want to suggest to us, send us an email, please. We'd love to read it on the air at clastissue@gmail.com. We are also going to be on iTunes probably next week and YouTube as well, because I'll be uploading the podcast on there as well. So definitely check us out.
Yeah, hit us up, like and subscribe. Is that a thing?
Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing.
I know my kid watches a lot of YouTube, and I always end it with like and subscribe.
Absolutely, like and subscribe. And when you find us on iTunes, give us those stars because we really like those 4-star reviews.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Ahead of time.
So until next week, I guess this is Last Issue. Thanks for listening.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Keep reading.
Bye-bye.